Welcome to this series of Wisdom Within introductions into different aspects of how we can live a more animist life and give into our authentic nature. So, this little video is about altars. So, some of you know altars, some of you use them. Maybe you think of them as an altar in a church, but altars are a place to focus energy, for intention, for requesting support, for talking to our ancestors, for speaking about our wishes and needs to the living world. And so there are different images flying through this video of different altars that I and other people around Web of Life Animus have made over the years. There's lots of different kinds. There's different cultural ways of making an altar. So if you have a cultural way of your ancestry or a way that has grabbed your heart and that speaks to you, then definitely work with that. But what are some elements of altar creation? One is where you could have a little corner in your room, a room somewhere. You could have one outside your door, in more of a nature place. Now, if we're in public places, let's not gather things together like stacking rocks and such, because there's some unhelpful aspects of that. One, when people are in nature, they don't really want to see human oriented stackings and such. But also, we might move a rock and, that is an insect or a spider or a little being's home or protection, and we might mess with that. We might also move it and then squish someone. So just to say, be careful, because beings live everywhere, even if we don't see them. Okay, so your place or your reason, let's even start there. Your reason for an altar. What do you need? Maybe you are wanting to connect more deeply with your authentic self and your ancestors, or some other reason. And so, pick a spot. It doesn't have to be big and elaborate. It doesn't have to be fancy. It could be a cardboard box, plain. It could be a cardboard box with a cloth over it. It could be a little table or a corner of a shelf. And there's really no rules about that. So that's good. And then tend it, build it, and then tend it. So while you are picking a place, you could ask within, is this a good place? Is this a good place? Maybe in a place that it's not going to be messed with by people who don't know you, like if it's outside. But also, if you live with others, or if others are around and anyone might be maybe want to make fun of it, maybe you don't need to have it in a place where there could be a lot of comments about it. Or maybe that's what you want. So this is a time to think about, well, what is the purpose of you gathering together an altar? If it's ancestral, you could have a cloth. You could maybe gather images or items that, even if you don't have anything from your ancestors, it might remind you of the ancestry that you know of, right? That you know about, even if it's not particular ancestors. Now, for some people, ancestry is kind of tricky because recent ancestors, there's not much desire to have a relationship, but there's lots of ancestors. There's not only human ancestors, there's also animal ancestors. Maybe you feel a tree or a rock or a mountain is a part of your ancestry. And so you could have an image or maybe an item or a piece, like a pine cone from a tree that has meaning for you, or a stone from a mountain that has meaning for you. You could ask if it's okay to take it. And if you get the feeling of yes, offer gratitude. And then you could gather items that have importance to you. They don't have to stay there forever. It's actually sometimes good to change things out, right? Dust them. Sometimes when our altar gets dusty, maybe our inner world needs attention. And then there's the elements. There's the elements of fire, of water, of air, of earth, but especially the fire and the water. Depending on the season, Maybe in the summer you don't want much fire, or fire and smoke, or water and a spray that you could spray that has a fragrance in it, or some kind of essential oil that you like. Oils are good as well. That you could have this altar be a place where you focus your prayers, if you use that word, or you could focus your needs, your intentions, your requests, your gratitudes. Now, this little video that's coming in a second, this is from my altar right behind me and how I engage with that. Take a look. Hi. It's almost time for bed, but before I go into the dream world, I wanted to talk a little bit about altars. And so altars are a focal point for intention, for connection, for asking for assistance, for being with our ancestors, our allies. For some people, it's with a deity or a god or a goddess. And there's lots of ways to do it. There's lots of types of altars, but it really doesn't take anything elaborate, right? So you might want to have a candle, like a flame. You might want some kind of medicinal or clearing plant. This is white sage, but it could also be cedar, pine, juniper, rosemary, lavender. There's lots of different ones. And they clarify the air. They're like antimicrobial, right? So it's not just woo-woo stuff. But there's also an opportunity for you to figure out where in your space that's yours. Maybe it's a room, maybe it's a house, maybe an apartment, maybe a car, dashboard, your bike, I don't know, wherever it might be, to have something that reminds you of your connection to the web of life, the connection to protection, the connection to support, where you can say, yes, we are working on this life together. And if you don't have that, I encourage you to find it. Figure it out. Decide. This is my spot. This is my corner. I'm going to put a little thing there that every time I see it, I'm like, yes, I matter and I belong here and I deserve and need help. I promise. It's helpful. Altars. So one other thing that I'd like to bring up is an altar could be in a permanent place. You could also have a portable altar, which is fun. So you could have a little box or a little tin. It could even be a little Altoids tin, like small, or big enough. I know someone who has a box of altar materials in the back of their car because she says, you never know when I need to build an altar or make an offering. And the offerings, I'll come back to that. So you could lay it out for a need and then pick it back up. So offerings are something that we give. Could be a bit of our hair for the hummingbirds to make nests. It could be a bit of water or milk, or possibly in some cultures, they use alcohol. For the ancestors who like alcohol, you could offer a bit to the earth, or maybe in a little vessel on your altar for a while. You might bring ants, though, and then you have an altar for ants, so just watch out for that. You could also make an offering of food for your ancestors, or possibly something healthy for an animal, like salt for deer and elk, a little bit of cornmeal or seeds or something, right? Maybe not a chocolate bar, that wouldn't be good. That you could make an offering to the animals who live in a place where you live or that you go. And the offering is a way of expressing gratitude and reciprocity. right? That we're not just humans taking all the time, that we actually are giving, and that we give from our heart, not just because we think we should. So that's an important part of altar building and altar tending. And so then the final part would be, how do you even talk to an altar, or who or what it is that the altar is set up to be a portal of connection for, right? So you could start out by talking out loud or internally to who is it that you are wanting to communicate with or offer gratitude for. All the ancestors that brought you to be here now, maybe all your benevolent ancestors that care about you, or that you think that they would recognize you and honor you. You don't need to focus on the ones that won't. You could talk to them directly. I am here because I want a deeper connection with you. And I'm not even, you could say, I'm not even sure how to do this, but I am here giving it a try. And then you listen for what you feel. Maybe you feel another step in some way that would be helpful. Maybe you want to write, or maybe you want to sing a song, or maybe you feel emotion. Okay, so this is a conversation. It's not one way from us out. We expect some kind of response in some way. Now, we don't always get the response that we want when we want it, but just trust, right? Trust. And finally, when you decide, or if you decide to build an altar in a public place or in a nature place, maybe put it up for a bit and then put things back, because we don't need to leave our mark everywhere. And also, I would say, follow the guidance of the place or the culture that you are interacting with. And if you get a feeling of no, honor no. If you get a feeling like, nope, this isn't going to work, or I need to stop, then just say thank you and stop. Altar building has been around since the beginning of human time. It is something that humans do through all cultures. And also, all religions have altars in some form or another. Most families have altars of their loved ones, maybe around the TV or on a shelf on the wall. And so this is an opportunity for you to retool, to remake that practice so it suits you. And I look forward to seeing what you create. Put in the comments about anything about altars that you've made or that you end up making. And finally, I do have a course at quynn.com in my inner university portal about spiritual tools, and altars is one of the parts of that course, and you are welcome to check that out. And thank you so much for listening, and I look forward to seeing you soon. My free spirited earthly companions, thank you for taking a moment. I have an audio course that you might like. I am in the mood to give it away to anybody who has the promo code of free spirit, all one word. For any of us who are spiritually inclined or curious, but we're not really into the whole dogma thing, right? We don't want to be told how we're supposed to do it. It's great. And it's also, it can be a little confusing sometimes about how to step into it, how to follow our own path, especially when we don't see a path. I completely understand. And so that's what the inner university is for. It is to offer prompts and ideas and a bit of guidance, and then always an opportunity to be introspective to rhythmic sound. That's kind of my thing. And it is amazing about what it does to our brains and how it opens up our dreaming mind and our contemplative nature. Also, to have some moments, some time to sit with ourselves and see what comes up, what bubbles up, what intrigues us or makes us curious about a variety of subjects. So, in this course, dreams, protection, connecting with our inner allies, giving in or exploring our animist nature, also that we are all kin here on this beautiful earth. So please, you are invited and give it a try. Free Spirit is the promo code. And the course is called Animism for Free Spirits. Thank you. Hope to see you soon.